It looks like Mount Evans could be getting a new name. The peak, of course, is visible in our Front Range Mountains, and there's been talk for several years about giving it a name to reflect the indigenous people who once occupied the land.
Yeah, State Naming Board has already endorsed changing it to Mount Blue Sky, and we have learned the governor is now weighing in. Alan Janae actually lives close to the base of that mountain, joins us now. And Alan, you've been covering the story, we know, since talk of changing the name first started.
Here at the base of the road to Mount Evans, you can find a lot of people divided on this issue. Governor Polis has now sent a letter to the U.S. Board of Geographic Names that will ultimately make the decision on this. In that letter, he gives his position on changing the name. Now, the governor is the last to weigh in Colorado before it goes to the federal government. The 15-member State Board of Geographic Names has already unanimously endorsed the idea of changing the name from Mount Evans to Mount Blue Sky. That idea started several years ago when people weighed in on the mountain being named for former Territorial Governor John Evans. Evans was eventually removed from his position for his role in the Sand Creek massacre on the Cheyenne and Arapaho people that left about 150 dead. Now, there have been more than a half dozen names suggested, but the Southern Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes pulled together a coalition backing Mount Blue Sky as the Arapaho were known. Here in Idaho Springs, the change has brought a wide range of opinions.
Naming it Mount Blue Sky makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, naming it after the people who lived here.
If they like it, I mean, they were here first, so if that's what they want to see it named, then I'm all for it.
No, leave it alone, We learn from our past.
Not rename anything. They named them that way for a purpose in the beginning on it, and whenever you rename something, you're taking away the history that goes behind it, too.
I definitely understand the importance of indigenous respect in this area, especially as this place has such deep indigenous roots. It's like, how do you balance that really challenging equation? There's so much rich history in this area, not just indigenous history, but tons of history from all peoples that have been here for a really long time.
It would be a surprise if the governor disagrees with the State Board of Geographic Names. We will learn likely tomorrow what the governor thinks. Now, the Federal Board of Geographic Names will have a meeting next Thursday at which they are likely to bring up the issue of this name change. They could decide as soon as that day to change from Mount Evans to potentially Mount Blue Sky, or still maybe even something else. In Idaho Springs, I'm Alan Janae, covering Colorado First.